One. Hey everybody, welcome to Spilling the IT. I'm Paul Burke. That's Adam Burke. We're talking about reputation analysis today. But first, Adam, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Having a good day. Monsoons finally calmed down around here, so not to complain about the weather, but it was rain for like 5 days, and that was kind of crazy. So squared away. Had some flooding. Everyone's doing okay for the most part, and back to normal triple degree surface of the sun type temperatures in Arizona. So it's great.
Is it so monsoons? Is it triple digits when it's raining there? Like, is it like very hot rain? Or is that a very stupid question?
No, it's not a stupid question. It's not a stupid
There's
question.
no
No
stupid
stupid questions,
questions
Paul.
here.
No,
There's
it's
no
just
stupid
stupid people.
questions.
Nope. And yeah, so it cools down, gets a little bit in the high 80s, 90s. It gets kind of humid, kind of drops, but you get like some cool lightning shows, and it's a little dangerous. You get a couple people get in trouble with flash floods, but yeah, it just dumps a ton of water. We got more rain in this storm than all of last year in 2020. So it was kind of nuts.
Wow, that's cool. I had a
Yeah.
pretty great day myself. There were a couple turkeys trying to cross the road, and I did not hit them. I was able to avoid them. Not my fault, because those turkeys, not the typical dark turkey colors. This was like a very light turkey. Good luck to him in the future, because that turkey is not long for this world. He blended into, yeah. Anyways, that's my day.
Yeah, I mean, he might get picked off by a hunter, or yeah, that typically the albino colored species and everything kind of gets picked off pretty quick. So,
Hmm. Well, this
yep,
show is more
not
about
blending into the
bio.
herd.
Yeah,
It is. It's a biology, evolutionary biology with Adam Burke and Paul Burke today. It's great, fantastic, and
and,
weather, and
and we like
weather.
to mix it. Yeah, a little bit of weather, a little bit of reputation analysis, a little tech conversation. We're hoping to add a little bit to your day. So yeah, hard pivot from rain, monsoons, and turkeys to um, reputation analysis. And
Yeah.
what is it? Let's start there.
So yeah, so reputation analysis it's an offering that we have as a standalone, but it's something that we leverage when we're onboarding new clients, when we're evaluating some of our clients' potential targets for acquisition, or when we're just kind of trying to see, what are some areas that organizations might need some help. It's basically an organization's public-facing credit score, if you will, from an IT perspective. So a lot of people don't think of it this way. You think of old security assessments like penetration tests and vulnerability scans and things like that. Typically, that requires a user to allow you to review their environment, right? You're not just going to kick off a penetration test and try to break into someone's network without setting off a lot of alarm bells and ticking some people off. That a reputational assessment, a reputational analysis, that's publicly accessible information. It's like your FICO score. It's like your any type of TransUnion, whatever type of like credit analysis you have from your financial institution. Um, that's that's what it is now online. So you can, as long as you know the domain of an organization, www dot whatever,
Hmm.
you can find out a lot about that organization, some of the maturity of their practice around their cybersecurity, what they're up to, usernames and passwords on the dark web, how they compare to other people in their industry. The reputational analysis really shows all public-facing information on an organization, what they're up to.
So my second question over here is I think we can skip over it, because my
Yeah,
second question is this important? Which I think you pretty much just answered. It's incredibly important. So I'm just going to
yeah.
assume that's a yes.
Well, yeah, it's important, but it's important for different reasons because than you might assume. One is it's always good to know um, how you're doing compared to your peers, right? So it's a competitive landscape, it's a competitive world. how is my company doing versus my top competitors or my peers in the industry. But it's becoming table stakes that you actively manage and engage in a proactive nature, to do your best from a cybersecurity standpoint. That includes your users, that includes your network, that includes your applications. More and more applications are going to the cloud. Every time you click that terms and conditions and
Hmm.
agreement and all those types of things that you do when you push those applications outside of your data center or off your premise to a data center down the road, or a cloud environment,
Hmm.
you're putting more and more of your data and your clients' data out there, and it's accessible, and you can be evaluated and judged by potential partners, by your peers, and by your potential customers. More and more customers are saying, "Hey, it's great you say on your website that cybersecurity is important for you. That's
Hmm.
great. It's really cute. Prove it." And now, and beyond even the proving it is they're going to monitor it. So we monitor reputation for a lot of our clients. It's an ongoing thing because patches are constantly getting released, updates are always getting pushed out. Nothing is static. Nothing in the IT world is static. So it's constantly changing, and the reputation is constantly evolving as well. So if all of a sudden you see a big drop in your score,
Hmm.
that's a variable you want to be aware of. That's important, and that's something that we monitor, we notify on, we update. If we're responsible for patching in our environment, we definitely want to know if something changes. And if our clients they're obviously responsible. They have fiduciary duty to their customers and their owners structure or whatever it is. Um, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal.
So when you mentioned a drop in somebody's score, when the drop happens, do you guys know immediately the reason why, or is that a moment in
Yep.
time where you're like, let's go figure that out? Do you understand what I
Well,
mean?
yeah. So the drop the drop and the reason for the drop is readily available, right?
Okay.
So it could be anything from a due diligence, from a patching schedule, to an SSL configuration. It can be all sorts of things. It can be, hey, we've identified that there's some botnet infections or some potentially exploited systems on this network. That's really going to impact your score.
Hmm.
If you have some um, a known security incident, that's published, that's gonna impact your score. But yeah, no, you know why. When you get a drop in your score, you know why,
Got it.
right? So you have just open ports.
Hmm.
Hey, you know, it's
Open
it's a
ports
it's a known
on
thing.
anybody on the network.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Anything that's associated with that company from an IP-based standpoint, or um, um, a software subscription standpoint, or a user, anything like that. Yep.
which can, and I believe this is a technical term, become a little mind-boggling when that the network. I mean, very quickly, your more computers are coming online to that network. There are more and more ports. Just the
Yep.
increase in possible issues grows very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. The more convenience you add to your environment, the more the simplified nature you have for your users to access it, to bring their own devices, to VPN in. As you move out that convenience, you increase the potential sometimes for threats, right? You
Hmm.
got to continually, like, I was watching a documentary. I'm such an old man now, but I was watching a documentary on World War II, and it was talking about
Oh,
the Russian. Yeah,
you got
have
to
you
the
done
World War
World War
II
II?
age of life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, hey, I'm like, feel like Tony Soprano sitting there, eating ice cream and watching World War II documentaries. Um, yeah. So they were talking about the Russians were pushing towards Berlin, and there was the general had pushed 320 miles in his last push on his way close to Berlin, and they said he was going to, they paused there about 25 miles outside, 50 miles outside, and let their supply lines catch back up. that same concept that you have in combat of pushing forward and letting your supply lines and your things, basically true up and make sure you're secure. Um, that doesn't just go away just because you're in a different, digital warfare kind of landscape. Like you're going to push forward, you're going to move towards your objective of making things convenient for your end users and for your customers, but careful about how far and how fast you push because those supply lines can get cut off. You can open up a gap or a vulnerability in your lines and potentially screw yourself over. So um, you got to always be monitoring that, and reputational assessments and kind of seeing where the gaps are is a good way to kind of to shore that up. I'm not sure if that analogy made any sense or I went on a tangent about being an old man watching World War II documentaries, but
Adam, I think it
really
all
trying to get
applies.
there.
It all applies. You being an old man watching documentaries, um, and also the metaphor works. So if I were to push this metaphor a little bit further, in some ways, Quest and reputation analysis is like a surveyor on a mountain, just kind of watching everybody push forward and then watching the supply lines and seeing if there's any break in the supply lines, seeing if there's anything that could become an issue that is an issue, and we notify the general. Does that
Yeah,
work?
yeah, yep,
There you go.
it does. It notifies you, lets you know where some potential vulnerabilities are, and lets you address those as soon as possible. Because so many things are changing and moving all the time. It's constantly monitoring where you're at, where are we at, how are we doing, how are we performing. It's you got to have constant feedback in order to improve. So
Nice. And maybe next week, whatever we're talking about, we can relate it to, I don't know, Trojan War or some other situation. Something happened, other wars, we can talk about it and relate it to
yeah,
that.
yeah. There's always war analogies in IT are always fantastic. I had to self-censor a few times on some internal calls where we talked about some analogies and sometimes being a meathead infantry guy back in the day and talking, you know, next gen technology with latest and greatest civilian folks and peers doesn't always translate apples to apples. So you gotta tone it down every once in a while. But yeah,
Okay.
it's fun.
Okay. Um, so question, Adam, I got a
Yeah.
bunch of questions so this is what's great. And everybody watching, you don't know this, but we had a conversation after our last show. And I was like, Adam, I'm sorry. I'm kind of dumb. I don't know these topics that well. And Adam very kindly said, that's great. I'm glad you're dumb. I'm glad you don't know this stuff. Ask questions so you're learning, and then people watching the show might have the same questions that you're curious about. So that freed me up. Adam, I appreciate it. I can just ask questions. You got answers. That's
Fire
really
away,
great.
dumbass. Good.
So, question, Adam, who should be doing a reputation analysis? Big companies? Just big companies? Talk to us. Who should be using it?
No, so anybody who depends on the internet or leveraging software as a service. So think like Microsoft 365
Mm-hmm.
or G Suite or Azure services or AWS. Anybody who uses technology to support your clients or support your day-to-day operations of your business or your organization. So if you have a website, if you have computers,
Mm-hmm.
if you have users who log in from their mobile devices, if you have people on the road logging into different networks around the country. Basically, if you have a company
Mm-hmm.
and you have users and you access the internet, so if you're a lumberjack in Alaska
Mm-hmm.
without satellite uplinks,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, not a good solution for you. But pretty much everybody else,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah, it's a good thing to know um, what how you stack rank against your competition, how your potential partners and customers are seeing you, and what your general score is when you compare those things.
Adam, what if I offer fly fishing in Alaska for people and I have a website and me and my
hmm
team of fly fishermen go on there, we schedule, different groups to go out and fish. Should I use it?
Well, it just depends. Well,
I have a website.
we're not going to. You got a website. You got a website, and you want to make sure it's secure. So yes, it'd be a good thing to do a quick evaluation of that. If you're subscribing to a website and you're hosted, maybe your hosting provider is doing this for you. So like we do this, we do a reputational assessment for our clients that have no idea that we're doing it for them, right? So we do a lot of hosting services. We do a lot of cybersecurity services. We help people monitor their stuff. We help people host their stuff. We'll just do this as we're onboarding a customer to see what they're projecting out there to the rest of the world.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's always good to take a look at what you're looking like online.
Got it. And just to clear it up, in that analogy, the fly fishermen did their own website because they wanted to save money, and spend it all on bait. So they did it all internally at them, realized they had some issues, and I think they should bring us in. Okay. How long does this take? So reputation analysis, time-wise, what are people looking at?
Oh, it's an automated platform, rolls out as fast as you can put the data in. So
Nice.
it's instantaneous.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's instantaneous. That's a harder word to say than I thought it'd be. What, for a client, what do they have to do to prepare themselves for a reputation analysis?
Nothing. The point of reputation analysis is it lets you know what you need to be focused on, right? So it's a good gut check on your public facing presentation to the world, right? So if you want to be an honest broker of like, hey, we think we're doing a good job, but give us a look. The information's already out there.
Mhm.
If your usernames and passwords and information about your people is on the dark web, it's not going anywhere. If you have open ports and things like that, you're probably not going to find them before you do this assessment. You might do an audit and find them, but this is a tool that helps you improve.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going off script. It's just a question that popped in my head. Have we worked with clients in the past where going in to a discussion with them, they didn't even know about reputation analysis, didn't think they needed it once they did learn about it, but realized, oh, wow, this is something we really needed? Like, have organizations realized it was helpful in the long run?
Yeah, I mean, so everybody's kind of ready for everyone's kind of ready for it at different phases. Oftentimes we'll get involved in cybersecurity workshops or risk management workshops. So what's a lot of fun about Quest is we can meet our clients where they're ready to engage. Risk management is more of a conceptual engagement. Where is your company at risk? Where do you need to improve security? Where do you need to improve resiliency? Where are the gaps? It could be your communications plan, could be your IT, could be your people, could be how you access your systems. And sometimes we'll just put a reputational assessment together based on an initial discussion with them and bring that as one touch point of their risk assessment. It just depends on the client. Some people are like, wow, this is great data. They kind of nerd out on the different levels of like, okay, well, compared to these three competitors, we're a 760 versus these guys are a 680. Okay, cool. How can we improve that? I believe it's a metric system. I think it's like 0 to 900 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of nerd out on that, and they get excited about areas where they can incrementally improve.
It's almost like a game. It's like a game. How can they improve and nudge themselves a little bit higher?
Yeah, I mean, you get instantaneous feedback. You as you make changes that are addressable and identifiable by the system, you can see, okay, wow, I'm improving my score. I'm looking better. It's a little bit of gamification. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Adam, I can't think of anything else. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot, obviously, I haven't learned everything. Um, are there things about reputation analysis and monitoring you kind of want to dive into and talk a little bit more about it?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that you're gonna get out of it what you put into it and how often you're gonna make those improvements, right? So it's a tool. And one thing that we always want to make sure we're communicating with our clients, our partners, anybody that spends enough time with us to work with us is it's a tool and it's one part of your situational awareness to help secure your organization. It doesn't solve anything for you. The only thing that can solve something for you is taking action to improve your current situation. So where we strongly advise people start the discussion at a workshop, start with a cyber defense workshop, start with a risk workshop, start with a cloud migration workshop. Any of these workshops will allow you to kind of understand, okay, what are the steps I need to take to improve? Reputational assessment, doing this analysis can help you identify tactical areas where you can improve your company and your security posture, but it's not going to do anything for you. Oftentimes, everyone gets so bogged down in the idea like software is gonna eat the world. Yeah, software is gonna eat the world, but it still takes people who make decisions to figure out what they're gonna do with that software. So tons of cool tools out there, amazing capabilities in the cybersecurity world. We see thousands of them every day. It really matters. What are you going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you have in place right now? More and more people, sometimes get, what is it, a paralysis, an analysis paralysis, right? You have thousands of different potential things you can do,
Mm-hmm.
but you end up just not doing anything because you kind of lock up. Um, Tools like our workshops and tools like reputational assessment, or sorry, reputational analysis give you the ability to make a decision with as much data as you can at the time and then make incremental improvements. You're not gonna solve everything at once. It's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna fix your day for you, but it's gonna at least give you a roadmap of areas where you can improve. And you know, that's what we're always about. Hey, how can we help? What's the next thing we can do? Where do we start?
You know where paralysis by analysis, that is like it comes into play so often, is places that serve ice cream. Your Baskin Robbins, your Cold Stones, too many
Uh-huh.
choices. People are frozen. They don't know what to do. Too many toppings. Toppings on top of ice cream, madness. It's too much.
Scoop of chocolate, throw some Heath bar on it, and move on with your damn day. Let's go.
See, Adam, not everybody's living that simple life. I know I'm not. Well, okay. So we're coming up on a half an hour. So anything else, Adam, before we dive into another important question?
No, no, I think we're good. I think we sent that horse to the glue factory. We're good.
Which doesn't segue at all into the next question. Adam, what are you watching? What is worth watching on Netflix? What is worth listening to as a podcast? Help people, Adam. Give them
Uh,
wisdom.
So, so podcasts. I'm still listening to On the Tape with Guy Adami. He's the guy from Fast Money on CNBC.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I mentioned I wanted to talk to you. They do this thing called Rip Off the Tape. It's called a rot, and it's a great segment. It's where they rant about something. One of their guys rants about something. That was that spilling the tea or spilling the IT that I was telling you. I'm like, we have like a spill it section or something like that where one of us goes off on a rant about something because I'm going to steal that from them. So
Okay.
because it's cool. But that's a cool podcast. I like it. If you like markets and stuff, it's fun. I watched the new Jim Pratt movie. Who's the guy? What's his name?
Jim
He's the
Pratt.
action. He's the. Is that Jim Pratt? It's
Oh,
the
Tomorrow
the
War.
Tomorrow War. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched that. That is like that is like the Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like with like it's got some alien in it. It's
Mm-hmm.
got some zombies, some World War Z in it. It's
Mm-hmm.
got some it's got It's a Wonderful Life in it too. It's got a little moment where he kind of like comes to realize he's got this forgiveness and all this kind. It's it's deep, but it's so stupid at the same time. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's really, really fun.
So go enjoy that deep, stupid ride tomorrow.
It
Tomorrow
was
morning.
fantastic. Made no sense whatsoever. But you know what? I didn't care. It was, 10
Yeah,
o'clock on a Saturday night, sitting there eating a cookie and watching absolute mind garbage. But it was fantastic.
yeah,
Loved it.
that's how I was.
A lot of fun.
Same way watching it. I was like, all right, and I like him. He's so likable. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. Um, so so there isn't there. Into the Spider Verse, the movie Into the Spider Verse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that team did another movie called Mitchell's versus the Machines. Have you seen it?
No, I
It's
haven't.
animated. It looks like a kid movie. It's definitely not. It's geared more for like teens and adults. I'm loving it. I haven't finished it
Oh,
yet, but I was watching that. I'm loving it so far. It's super smart, very funny, and I think
huh.
it has a lot to say about tech and different companies, and you can definitely see who they're kind of poking at in the
Oh,
in
okay.
it. It's great. It's
Yeah.
that same sort of like Into the Spider Verse, really really good comedy.
Nice. Right
Yeah,
on. Right on.
yeah, yeah. So, cool. Well, we'll be back next Monday with Spilling the IT. And, next week, Adam's hot new segment where he's going to rip into something. And we're going to have to, like, make sure the acronym
We gotta
spells
come up
out
with a name
something.
for it though. We gotta come up with a name for it though.
SIP,
Fit.
maybe SIP. Um, I don't know. What other drinking? Spill, sip, um,
Burning the tea? No.
burn,
I want to burn the tea.
burn it down. Burn it down with Adam. Burn it down. Bid?
Bit.
I don't know. We'll work on that,
We'll have to work
guys.
that out. We'll workshop that. We'll workshop that.
So, thanks for hanging out. This has been Explaining the IT. If you have any questions, feel free, leave them in the comments. We'd love to answer your questions. And if you're interested in reputation analysis, you can always reach us at www.questsys.com. And also, the phone number is in the description as well. We'd love to talk to you more and help you out with your organization. So,
Have a good week, everybody.
see you later. Bye.